Hello, this is Victor at RestoringMercedes.com. This video is for Bobby in Illinois, and this is a door lock pump that came from 1995 Mercedes S350 turbo diesel, and this is early style pump. It has the manifold where all the pipes connect to, and then manifold is attached to the pump itself, to the pump case. Here's a little tab. Locking pin goes through the tab and it holds manifold to the pump case. Later pumps have piping connected directly. They snap onto the ports. It's like 96, it's 97, 98 and 99, but this is an early style with the manifold, so that's how it looks. Now, what can I say? The pump itself, the board did not have any water damage or anything, and you can also see older style motor. That's what you find in 92 to 95 pumps. Some 95 pumps are actually already updated. This is from the diesel. They had this earlier style pumps in them. So the board was pretty clean, everything's fine with the board. Valves, solenoids, there was just a bunch of graphite dust because the motor failed, and this is how motor looks. Basically it turns but it doesn't spin when you attach, when you apply power to it. So this motor is junk. Now, new motor was installed, everything was realigned. I also had problems with pump vanes, internal vanes, that actually was scored badly. The vacuum hose, silicone hose was very weak. I had to replace that. It was falling off the actual motor connector here. It became too soft, so that was replaced. The whole vanes inside were polished best of my ability, and because when I first put it together I didn't have enough vacuum. It was lower than spec. So now, once everything was polished and reassembled, vacuum is up to spec, everything is good. I did run the pump already, I did check it out, and I find that valves, shut-off valves, pressure and vacuum valving, all of that works. Membrane is also good in one of the bypass valves. Alright, so let's test it out. I'm making this with one hand, so bear with me for a minute. Now you have all these ports here, your central lock-in ZV, and you have this port here which is P+, if I remember correctly. That should be P+, and of course it doesn't want to focus. Yes, that's P+. I don't know what's going on with this thing. P+, and then P-. So with these two, what we need to have is, when the pump is in the vehicle, none of these ports should leak, because if they do leak, then you're going to have pump cycle and it's going to burn the motor. So P- is vacuum, so I'm going to connect this pipe here that is sealed at the end to duplicate my sealed vacuum system. To P+, I'm going to connect my bottle here. I'm going to just crush it, connect the port to it. That's going to basically duplicate pressure storage tank. Let's put the power on. Let's just wait until pump the pressure and vacuum. Okay, so what happened just now is pumped up the pressure storage tank along with vacuum, and it shut off. This is how you really want your car to be. When the engine is running, okay, engine runs, pump is off. So before you put the seat back on, just have the pump connected, start the engine. The pump will cycle a few times to fill up pressure and vacuum storage tanks. Once it does its job, it's supposed to not cycle. Okay, this is very important, because if it keeps cycling like such, see, if there is a leak in a vacuum circuit, then the pump will cycle. See, I'm trying to actually, you see, I'm closing it but not all the way, and that's what you get, cycling of the pump, and that's not good for it. So you have to make sure that when the pump is on, the engine is on, there is no cycling on the pump. Now I can say 100% internally the pump is not leaking, everything is good there. Alright, so let's go by our central lock-in now. So for that we're going to have our pressure and vacuum gauge. This is both bidirectional, so it's upside down, but this is vacuum, this is pressure. So I'm going to do pressure and vacuum. Also vanes, they have to break in, so it'll take a little bit before you get maximum readings. We had our vacuum about 0.5, that's good. We have our pressure about 40, about 4.3 about. Pressure is a little lower than vacuum, but that's still within specification, because there was so much wear on that vane that this is the best I can get it out. But again, once they break in, they actually should create better pressure. But this is plenty, this is just enough. I just like to usually see it just about 0.5. This is like 0.4, not a big deal. But that was locking and unlocking, and it's going to work just fine, just like that. The next port is going to be our H. Now our RH port is the rear antennas, those little parking assist. As you can see, pressure was created to pull them out, and once I release power, it's going to create vacuum to pull them back in. This circuit is delayed because if you go from park, reverse, and say drive, reverse, drive, neutral, reverse, reverse, neutral, drive, maybe you're parking, so pump does not activate right away, so it takes a little bit of time, because if you're parking, antennas are still extended, and then once you put in park and the pump sees that there is no more power going to the pin, in a little time antennas will go down. That's normal, proper operation. Next port is S350. That's our handle in the trunk lid, so let's activate that circuit now. Again, we saw pressure, we see vacuum. That means it pressurizes handle circuit, pushes handle out. Once you release the power from terminal on the pump, it creates vacuum and it pulls handle back inside the trunk lid. Last one is FKS. Your car is S350, so that means you have vacuum driven headrests. So if the headrest in the rear seat, you open it up, but to fold it back in, pump has to create vacuum to actually release lock-in mechanisms, and then headrests, they will fold in. So let's do that activation. It does it twice, so that's normal operation also when the headrest circuit actually activates, not once. Sometimes I've seen 3 on the newer, like 99. Sometimes you see 3 cycles. The pump does that. So this one does 2 cycles, and that's proper operation. Sometimes the pump will do these kind of things because sometimes it takes pressure or vacuum from storage and storage tanks, so that's normal. If you see, sometimes pump activates, but it should not cycle. Like right now, as you can see, it's perfectly quiet, and it sits quiet for like minutes, and then it just checks the pressures, a vacuum, it pumps it up a little bit. But again, I do not have large vacuum storage tank, so I only have a piece of hose. So this is my storage tank. In reality, in the vehicle is a huge vacuum storage tank, and this is just a small piece of pipe. So obviously it will try to keep vacuum up. But this is basically all. This is what's important about the pump: pressure and vacuum. The rest of the circuits will not burn the pump out. They will continue working. Even if your door lock actuators are leaking a little bit here and there, obviously it's not good. So, but it shouldn't burn the pump, because you only activate them to lock and unlock the car. So the pump runs a little longer, and then it still shuts off. Whereas vacuum and pressure circuits, pump constantly cycles, and that's what burns it. So you want to make sure that both of these, the pump is quiet, in other words, when engine is running. You want to start the engine because it will create more vacuum, and it's going to feed back into the pump, and it's going to keep that solenoid shut off, and it's not going to cycle the pump. Alright, so this is basically all. That's the end of this video, and for more repairs you can visit my website at restoremercedes.com. My name is Victor. Thank you for watching.